station of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Kansas City.
It's just another beautiful day in Surprise, Arizona for Cactus League Baseball on Fox Sports Kansas City. Today, the National League West champion Los Angeles Dodgers are in town to battle our Kansas City Royals. Hi, everybody. I'm Steve Physiak. This is Rex Hudler. And the Royals family really received a scare last night in the World Baseball Classic when their all-star catcher Salvador Perez was injured in a collision at home plate with Drew Butera, his Royals teammate who was playing for Team Italy. What's the update?
Just a weird play, Fizz, but in baseball, you never know. The update, it was a lot of restless nights last night for a lot of the brass. Ned Yost said, man, I had a hard time sleeping, wondering if Salvi was okay. Turns out it's just a contusion. They say so far, going to have an MRI check tomorrow, and then we'll see. But he should be back in camp tomorrow, but everything looks good today.
And hopefully Salvador Perez will be ready to catch Nathan Karns when he makes a start. Well, Karns will be the starting pitcher today against these Dodgers.
That's right. Going to be a great trade as I see it so far, because Gerard Dyson was missed by his guys, but they got a legitimate starting pitcher. He's a big guy, throws hard, going to be developing more of a changeup now because he needs an extra pitch to be in that rotation. We'll watch him today, see how he looks.
It's right-hander Nathan Karns for Kansas City against one of the best left-handers in the game, Clayton Kershaw of the Dodgers. It comes your way next on Fox Sports Kansas City.
Hey, did you know
Arizona, where the Dodgers at 8-7 are in town to take on the Royals at 7-8. And there is Nathan Karns, who was acquired this offseason from Seattle in a January 6th trade. He posted a 6-2 record with a 5.15 ERA last year with the M's, and he's been solid this spring.
Yes, he has, Fizz. This is going to be a nice opportunity for Royals fans to check out their newest starting pitcher. the tape says 6'4", but I'm going to say he's 6'5", Fizz. He weighs 235, big guy, got good, nice fastball. He'll go mid-90s, maybe a little bit above that. And he's always had an outstanding curveball. But Dave Island has been working with him this spring and mixing in his changeup. Is that's going to be a pitch that's going to be good for him? And we'll see how much he uses it today. He's going to need that extra pitch.
And here is the veteran Chase Utley to lead things off for the Dodgers. He's 5 for 18 this spring, and as a team, the Dodgers hitting .287 and averaging 6 runs per game. This is Karns' third start in a Royals uniform. He retired all 6 batters he faced in the club's debut March 1st versus the Cubs, but allowed 2 runs on 2 hits and 1 walk in 3 innings last Monday versus Arizona. But Rex's Dave Island and Scott Sharp, who we talked to today, have indicated they've really been impressed with this big right-hander.
They have been, and that was one of the first people I asked about on Friday when I got to town, was how's Karns look? And you know, the coaches here in camp for the Royals, they're going to give you their opinion. They know that a lot of it's good, you know, not for the air, but they're. When I heard that Karns is having a great spring, he looks good, he's better than we thought he was going to be, speaks well for him and the whole team, because they're saying he could be as good as a second or third starter.
The second baseman Cheslor Cuthbert there to throw out Chase Utley, and there's 1 down to open this game. Of course, Cuthbert taking more ground balls at second base. He's a natural third baseman. Your thoughts on that position move?
Well, you know what? There's a lot more action there in the middle, and he's going to be tested with his range. But that was a nice tester there, going to his backhand side with no problem, coming up and firing a dart over there. Good play. There's Karns. There's his arsenal now. He's got a little sinking fastball, but mainly fastball, curve, and the changeup he's going to use a lot more. Dave Island told me he always had the change, but he was not confident using it. And then once he got down here and Dave got to see him 2 or 3 times, he said, hey, look, you're going to need the change. And then once Karns started throwing the changeup, he started saying, wow, you know what? That's got some good movement. It's going away to the lefties, into the righties. So now he's more confident using it.
And it appears he's throwing it back-to-back to Jock Peterson. That changeup so affected to left-handed batters like Peterson, a power hitter.
You got to have it, too. You know, before spring training started, people thought Karns might be a better fit in the bullpen, but because of all the depth and the young arms and the veteran arms, he's going to be a starter.
How about that? Really backing off and striking out Peterson on 3 pitches.
Made that look nice and easy, but like you said, every time, Fizz, in the spring, this early in the spring, guys are working on certain pitches, and so he broke out his changeup there on Peterson. It looks good.
Here is Justin Turner, 31-year-old veteran out of Long Beach, California. Hit .287 last year, 27 home runs and 90 RBIs, and they've signed him to a long-term deal.
He earned it. This guy's worked hard. He makes all redheads proud. Believe it.
Well, he's got plenty of red hair.
Yeah, you know
that helmet.
I've known him for a long time, and I'll text him during the summer and tell him, way to make us proud, bud. Good job. You know, he's a fantastic athlete. You know, he's a guy who had to work hard. Wasn't a real big, strong guy, so he kind of was a utility player when he broke in, but he's broken that mold, and now he's an everyday player. Oh, man. It's got to be a hit, a little hot smash off that hard dirt. Hot one hopper by Moose. Moose tried to get in front of it, but he didn't have time to, so he's just going to do the best thing. That's try to Olay it and catch it.
And my goodness, does Turner crowd that plate?
He's on top of the dish.
Yeah, his hands were over the dish, it seemed like. Here is Yasmani Grandal having a good camp, 10 hits and 24 at-bats. Royals are trying to end a 5-game losing streak. They've actually played well in the early innings, but when they've gone to some of their other relief pitchers late, they got knocked around.
Ned was trying to blame it on me.
Really?
Yeah, he told me.
You're 0-2 since you showed up.
I know. He told me today.
We were doing just fine without you, Wonder Dog.
That's what he said. I said, hey, come on, Ned. I'm in spring training, too. I'm trying to get the kinks out. But you know, the Dodgers, they had a great year. They won 91 games last year. They had a super season. Their manager, first-year manager, Dave Roberts, he got him a manager of the year. I mean, they're looking forward to it. I got a chance to talk to Dave Roberts down there today, and he said that he hopes he sees us in the World Series.
And the Dodgers have won 4 straight division titles and made the National League Championship Series twice, but no World Series. Knocked out by the Cubs.
See how Karns, see if he wants to throw over there at all. Brian Pena behind the plate. Talked about Salvador Perez's injury a little bit in the open, and what I wanted to say, and it didn't come out exactly right, was he has no structural damage in his left knee, Salvi. Now they're going to go through another MRI when he gets back here tomorrow, just to make sure it's all clean and get some ice on that. It's swollen a little bit.
Yeah, I was talking to Kyle Turner, one of our trainers who does such an outstanding job, and he said right now just joint inflammation, but he believed that Salvi will be back with the team tomorrow just so they can work on the maintenance, the therapy, the ice, making sure that he is ready to go.
You can imagine how his teammate Drew Butera feels.
Oh,
that was him, and when I saw the play, I could tell right away it was Drew on Team Italy coming down. The play was not fundamentally sound at all, the relay. K-Rod, the pitcher, he's the cutoff man. He should have been backing up home. That would have never happened. He got hurt, pulled his groin muscle, and then I wasn't sure it was Salvi. It's the first time I've seen Salvi. They said he's dropped 30 pounds. It didn't look like him.
Yeah,
he was so lean, so thin. And
I
saw the slide
in front of the plate rather than straddling it.
Well, because the throw was in the the right-handed batter's box. It was way off the plate, and Drew was coming on the outside, trying to stay out of the way.
But even when Francisco had the baseball, Salvi was straddling the plate.
Well, he's just trying to do the best he could, and you know, it just happened that way. And there's ball 4 now. Pedro Gaffal, he was in charge. Ned called Pedro right away when he found out and said, Pete, get on it. So Pedro called Salvi. He talked to Drew Butera. Butera said, oh, man, I'm hoping Salvi's okay because they won't let me in Kansas City if there's something wrong with Salvi. And Pedro said, hey, that's a heck of a way to get a starting job, taking out your own guy. But no, Drew said, I never had any intention of that. I didn't know what to do. Like he, you know, thankfully he slowed down before he made contact with Salvi's left leg.
Well, hopefully he's all right because he is such an important part of our Royals organization. Now Cody Bellinger, who is the #1 prospect for the Dodgers, son of Clay Bellinger, former New York Yankee. Very good power, 23 home runs last year in the minors.
Karns missing with his fastball off the plate so far. I like his changeup though, especially when he punched out Jock Peterson.
Falling behind the kid, 2 balls and no strikes. Almost seems like Nathan trying to work on his secondary pitches in this game. #1 is a fastball that can reach the mid-90s.
Yeah, and again, Dave Island told me he's not concerned about velocity this time of year. He'll pay more attention to that about the last 2 starts each guy gets.
Well, that shows me what he's been working on, Hud. 2-0 count, and he goes with an off-speed pitch.
Yeah, and you know, Bellinger, any hitter 2-0, especially in spring training, is going to be looking for that fastball.
2 on, 2 out. Karns got 2 quick outs, getting Utley and Peterson grounding out and striking out, but a single and then a walk. He will take a very vicious swing. I told you about the 23 home runs in the minors last year. He has 6 hits this spring, one of them a home run.
And he's put everything into that. Yeah. And, you know, this is a split squad for the Dodgers. They have a game tonight as well. So this half their team, plus they have their share of guys in the WBC as well. So it's kind of a, we're going to see some young minor leaguers in this game from the Dodgers. But this kid here, he's certainly has a future in LA.
And then Karns wraps him up with a good fastball that ran away from him and strikes him out. He strikes out 2 and leaves 2 Dodgers on the bases.
Get him some runs, fellas.
Lorenzo Cain will be coming up when we come back. The Royals hosting the Los Angeles Dodgers, and the Royals lineup will look like this with speedster Billy Burns to lead things off, then Mike Moustakas and Lorenzo Cain, who had 287 last year. Soler will clean things up. Then Ryan O'Hearn at first base because Eric Hosmer with the U.S. team and the World Baseball Classic. And we will see one of the best pitchers in the game, Clayton Kershaw. He missed 10 weeks last year because of a mildly herniated disc, but in his 21 starts, impressive. 11 walks, Hud. 172 strikeouts.
Whew. You know, and I was talking with Whitley Merrifield about Kershaw today. Whitley, he'll get in there later. He said he faced him last year, and he drew a walk.
Burns goes after the first pitch and will ground out.
And he said he drew a walk, and he goes, man, and that guy don't walk many. I felt like I hit a home run off him when he walked me. So, you know, you're right. He's a strike thrower, Fizz. He's one of the best in the business for sure. One of the reasons he's getting paid $34 million this season for the Dodgers. It's a beautiful thing when you could be an entertainer as well put together as this guy is. Great upbringing, class act on and off the field, and he really can execute his pitches.
You saw the defense with Jock Peterson in center field.
He's a young star player out there in center field. Had a good year. Last year hit about 27 home runs. This year probably they're expecting over 30 from him.
Here is Mike Moustakas. Meantime, Kershaw has not allowed a hit this spring. He has been absolutely dominant. 6 innings, no hits, 5 strikeouts. His last start against the Giants, 3 hitless innings on March 7th. Moose hits one well, and there's the first hit of the spring off Clayton Kershaw, and it's a home run.
That's right. You're not wasting any time. He knows the chances of a fastball first pitch are right there. And Kershaw, he ain't giving up many home runs at all, especially to left-handed hitters. Moose guessed right, and he hit a moose bomb. Yeah, look at that. Took his hands back just barely, hardly any stride, trusted his hands, and got a little back underside spin on it. Beautiful. That's exactly what Karns needs. Give him a run.
There's Lorenzo Cain with a soft liner that's caught by the first baseman. So the Royals really aggressive early on Kershaw's offerings.
Because they don't want to see that big yellow hammer of a curveball, man. He's got a curveball that drops out of the sky. He's got a great changeup, slider. He's got that four-seam fastball, though, he's been starting guys off with.
Now Soler, who saw him in the playoffs last couple of years in 2015. Soler had a great playoff run with 3 home runs. Last year he was on and off. 1 ball, 1 strike. He's been slow to start this spring with his new team. 2 for 26.
When you're facing a guy like Kershaw that throws strikes, you're in swing mode when you get up to the plate because you know you're going to get something to hit.
There's that breaking ball that misses low and in. 2-1. Barely misses with a fastball at 92 miles an hour.
Okay, early in camp, Soler was up on the plate, okay, and he was raising his hands up on inside fastballs, okay. Talking with George Brett today, just a little bit on the side. George said he thought he should back off the plate a little bit. Now there's a walk for Kershaw. So Soler's working on different stances in the batter's box where he wants to place himself, whether up close to the plate or back off.
Now Ryan O'Hearn, he gets the start because Hosmer, the U.S. team in the World Baseball Classic, but this is a young man who has been impressive this spring, now facing a dominant southpaw. I mean, Kershaw only gave up 97 hits all last year in almost 150 innings. We told you about the back problems that he suffered, but he came back in time to lead the team to the playoffs and came to camp in absolutely great shape. No problem with the back. O'Hearn fouls it out of play, but a pretty good swing there.
Yep, O'Hearn's opened some eyes over there. He knew coming in with Hosmer being on Team USA, he was going to get some chances early in camp, and he hasn't disappointed.
Yeah, I asked one of our coaches why he was drafted so low, and they said, well, he's out of Sam Houston State, didn't play in a great league, and so it was tough to scout against lesser competition. Boy, he has really been impressive. And that ball in the dirt, good block by Grandal. As a matter of fact, Hud, how about this? His professional debut after he was picked by the Royals in like the 20th round, he goes 5 for 5 with a home run.
Whew, that's incredible.
And then he had 30 hits in his first 34 games.
That sets a high standard for him. But you know, that's the inexact science of scouting. It's not easy. So it's
another one in the dirt.
It's up to the individual. A guy like O'Hearn comes up here, has a good spring. Now there's probably 15 teams here watching. They're scouting, and they're sending their reports because, you know, they're going to keep an eye on guys like O'Hearn and some of these young players who can open some eyes with big hits here, especially off of an ace like Kershaw. That's why you want to really try to be your best.
In the dirt, gets away. Grandal throws it down, but Ryan is going to be safe at first base on either a wild pitch or a pass ball charged to Grandal. We'll wait for the official score.
That looked like a wild pitch to me.
And it has been announced. Wild pitch.
Yep, this is off the mark. Soler's not going anywhere, just got away, and Grandal really had no chance. But it's trying to save a couple pitches for Kershaw by getting it out there. Grandal played last year on a bummed left shoulder. So he's all healthy this year. I was talking with Dave Roberts before the game. He says he's happy to have him 100%. It's hard to play this game, Fizz, when you got something wrong with you, but to grind it out behind that plate like that's pretty impressive. Playing hurt all the time. Good bat, didn't bother him with his
No,
swings.
he had his best home run season.
Yep.
trying to jam Cuthbert in on his hands and has missed the first two.
Yeah, and it looks to me that Kershaw's just rushing a little bit. Just his mechanics aren't all together this inning.
Big guy, 6'3", 225. He'll turn 29 on March 19th. This is Clayton's 9th big league season. The second for Cuthbert. And he hits that sharply, went right to the shortstop. They get the force at second. But the Royals take the early lead on Clayton Kershaw. The first hit he has allowed this spring is belted out by the Royals' third baseman, Mike Moustakas.
Pilot to Bombardier. Open up those Bombay doors. Who's got him one?
Awesome, man.
Moustakas blasts one out off of one of the great left-handers in the game, Clayton Kershaw. The Royals with the early 1-0 lead.
Oh, no. I don't want to see this, but we got to show it to you. Wiped out Moose's season. Looked harmless. Really, I mean, although collisions are collisions, especially when you're not seeing who's coming and getting you. Moose had no idea Gordon was closing in, and just the last minute, and then he clipped him, and that's when he went down. But it's great to see Moose back and recovered from it, gained some strength. Said he's in good shape, feels good, and when you hit a bomb off a left-hander like that, you pull it. That's a good sign. His bat speed's there.
Well, that will be the key for the Royals all season long. Good health. They had too many outstanding players that were necessary who were down. Lorenzo Cain only played in 103 games. Mike Moustakas 27 games. Injury to Alex Gordon limited him. But I will say this, the Dodgers were able to recover. They used the disabled list 28 times. They used a major league high 16 starting pitchers and won the National League West.
Well, you know, the thing I like about Ned didn't make any excuses. He said, look, we weren't a 500 team, and we won't accept that. This year they're expecting big things. Now when guys go down, you expect the organization to be able to supply your team with good depth, good talent. You have to have talent to win. And Ned has been happy that Dayton Moore has been able to take care of him with some good backup players, especially the outfield. They've got some good looking outfielders and some infielders. And the pitching's very deep. Every manager will tell you depth is just as important as every one of those starting players. Got to have that depth and somebody behind them. Step in after a long season.
Fouled back by Culberson. Rex, I wanted to ask you about Nathan Karns because in some respects his career parallels yours a little bit. And I say that because in 2015, he was at a crossroads in his career. He was 27 years old. He had been in the minors for a while. He was looking for that opportunity, and Kevin Cash said he came to camp with a chip on his shoulder, a focus, a determination. And Culberson lines one sharply down the left field line, but foul. And that mentality of, I've had enough of single and double A. I'm going to do whatever it takes. And he impressed Cash that year and became a starting pitcher for the Rays.
That's right. And Fizz, a lot of these young men have the talent to be major leaguers at the highest level. There's no doubt about it. It's that mental side, that delicate mental muscle that would determine them getting here and then staying. Can you stay? And the guys that have said, I've had enough, I'm going to go out there and show you what I got. Ooh, there's a nice gapper. You know, and he's earned it.
Culberson going for 3, and he will make it standing up.
That was a fastball that was up and away, and Culberson went with it. Charlie Culberson, the shortstop.
He's bidding for a backup shortstop spot behind Corey Seager.
Yep, good swing. A little toe tap there. He got caught that ball on the outer half. And he's taking a look at it now. He doesn't need to look at the third base coach. It's right in front of him. He knew he could make it all the way. Stand-up triple.
Now Tyler Holt. He played with Cincinnati last year. He showed bunt, pulled it back. Holt, 28 years old, played his college baseball at Florida State. Played in 107 games with the Reds last year, but did not hit a home run.
Yep, all he needs to do is make a little contact here. Nobody out.
And he makes good contact and smacks to the left field, and that will tie the game.
Fastball up. Dave Island was talking about the importance of Karns staying on top of the ball and working downhill. The focus will be more on using his changeup this spring, but he's been getting beat here this inning on fastballs he's leaving up.
Now Karns to face a guy familiar to Royal fans, Brett Eibner, who got a call up last year. Won one of the most dramatic comebacks we've ever seen in Royals history, and wound up hitting 3 home runs. He had a walk-off hit in his debut at the University of Arkansas.
I had a chance to talk to Eibner before the game. Said, hey, it's third team now. You've been traveling around. You went to Oakland last year. This year you're with the Dodgers. What do you think? He says, I'm enjoying it. It's baseball no matter what team you play for. But you know, the Dodgers have a chance to get to postseason, and that's what I'm all about, helping to do exactly what the Royals have done. And you know, I talked with Bob Guerin, Dave Roberts' bench coach, about Eibner. He says he's impressed not only with his bat, but the jumps he's been getting in the outfield this spring. So he's playing a good outfield for him.
Yeah, they had him in center field the last time the Royals played the Dodgers. He was debating that last call with Alfonso Marquez. Now down in the count 0-2.
See what he features here. Trying to bust him in. Let's see if he throws him the hook here. Ooh.
Swung on and missed.
Beauty.
Good fastball at 90 miles an hour.
Yeah, he stayed right with the heat. That ball had some good bite to it. Ran in on it.
And that, I think, was a great example of what you're talking about, staying on top, where he got that good down sink to it in the inner half.
That's right. Had some good movement. Now Kershaw, he's up here in American League ballpark here, but spring training, I'm sure Dave Roberts talked to Ned and said, hey, our guy Kershaw is going to be hitting. And then Ned said, Oh, yeah? Our guy Karns is not going to be hitting. we'll be DHing Jorge Soler. Kershaw loves to swing the bat. Part of the National League rules.
Yeah, maybe if Travis Wood was pitching for the Royals, they'd let him swing the bat because he can flat hit.
He might get an opportunity to pinch hit for Ned. You never know.
Right. That's a good point. It allows you to carry an extra pitcher.
Yeah. I mean, he's a good athlete. He can swing the bat. But Kershaw here, he's showing bunt, but he's pulling it back, little butcher boy. He's kind of playing games with Karns. Good hitter.
O'Hearn, Cuthbert, Arteaga, and Moustakas, the Royals infield, first to third. And that will catch the outside corner for a 1-2 count.
Trying to see, I'm not able to pull up any of Kershaw's batting numbers, but I know he loves swinging a bat. He's got some homers in his career. Hard to believe he's already pushing close to 10 years in the majors.
And he'll just turn 29 towards the end of this month, on March 19th.
You know what's impressive? 3 years ago, I believe it was, when the Dodgers came to the K, he made a start, and I wanted to meet him. And I went into the clubhouse to the visitor side over there, and he was just sitting down and had a plate of food. And I didn't have long on this going, hey Clay, now I just wanted to introduce myself to you and say hi. And he gets up out of his chair as he's getting ready to eat his meal. Gets up out of his chair, walks around the table, comes over to me, and looks me in the eye and shook my hand like I was the president of the United States.
And I've heard nothing but great things about him going over to Africa to do missionary work over there and bring food. And
he's a class act. Yeah, this guy's a classy guy, man. He's others first, then himself. He gets it. Puts others before himself, and he's very humble.
Fouled that one back.
Good swing. All right, thanks, Fizz. Got Kershaw's career numbers. Now he's a 154 hitter overall average. He does have 1 home run, 27 RBIs. Thanks, Fizz. I knew he had a homer.
Runner goes. Pitch swung on. Hit back to Karns. Ball's at his feet. Finally picks it up. Safe at first base. Nathan was searching around the mound for the baseball and didn't realize it was down near his shoelaces. What do infielders or catchers yell at their pitcher when something like that happens?
Hey, it's right underneath you. Ball's right there. So, but by the time you look around 2 or 3 times, Kershaw just took a nice, easy run down the line. He didn't try to do too much. Karns shaking his head. Thinking, you know what? That was an easy out for me. Would have been 2, but now we're going to have to roll up a double play.
And now we're back to the top of the order, and that means Chase Utley. Utley grounded out his first time up, and the Royals could use that right here. Get 2 outs on 1 pitch.
Yeah, the runner was going on Kershaw's hit, and had the ball gotten through, I think Cuthbert might have been able to glove it over there at second base because he was already there.
Strike 1.
Utley, 38 years old, Fizz. What a career this guy's had. He's a warrior. I mean to tell you, he's a hard ball player. He's a throwback player. It's all about hustling down the line. And they made the Utley rule because that slide a couple of seasons ago where he took out the second baseman and busted his knee, and he basically, they changed the rule because of that slide. And I asked him how he felt about that, and he said, hey, look, it's a safer game now. but he doesn't exactly care for it that much. He'd rather go down there and break up a double play.
Yeah, he plays the game like George Brett.
That's right.
Barely misses away. One ball, one strike.
World champion for the Phillies. And when the Dodgers went back to Philadelphia last year, the Philly fans, they gave him a standing O when he took the field, when he came up every time, and he went like 4 for 4 with a couple of homers. He had one heck of a game in a series in Philly for his old fans there.
Missed by much, but a 2-1 count now to Chase Utley. Logan Forsythe is expected to be their everyday second baseman. He came over from the Tampa Bay Rays, and he's the one main addition. I mean, they also picked up Vidal Nuno and Brett Eibner. Forsythe will take over for Howie Kendrick, who was their second baseman for much of last year.
Well, you know, there was lots of rumors going on about who was going to get a second, who was going to get Minnesota's second baseman. Dozier. Brian Dozier. And never happened. Minnesota held on to him, and then it was Forsythe that they got from the Rays. And then they also got Franklin Gutierrez, too. They got some right-handers, Fizz, to help because they were so poor against left-handed pitching last year, the Dodgers were. So they needed to stack up a little bit with some right-handed bats in there. Dave Roberts did the best he could.
The guys the Dodgers lost: Brett Anderson, Jesse Chavez, Howie Kendrick, Micah Johnson, and Josh Reddick, who's now with Houston. Full count, 3-2.
Dave Island was telling me before the game, Karns will probably go 4 innings, 60-65 pitches.
Well, he's thrown a lot through the first 2 innings and not done yet in the second. Usually he'd like to be around 12 to 15 pitches per inning, but you can see that number 44 and number 5 on the way. Runner broke, ball pulled down the right field line, foul.
It wasn't a double steal because Kershaw, he didn't leave when Holt took off from second base. And, you don't want your ace running the bases too hard at spring training. So, because injuries do happen, and don't want it to happen down here.
Karns with the pitch, and Utley again pulls it foul. .46 pitches to get just 4 outs.
See if Karns will throw him something besides a fastball here, because Utley looks like he's been on him. He did.
In the dirt, bases will be loaded. 2 walks now for Nathan. And up comes the very dangerous Jock Peterson. Jock last year belted 25 home runs, does strike out a lot, and struck out facing Karns first time up. Dave Island out for a visit, and talking to scouts, they say Karns has 4 quality pitches.
Yeah.
Average to above average major league pitches, but they said still his key is commanding the fastball. And there are 3 guys going for that 5th spot in the rotation. Nathan Karns is one of them. He's had 2 very good starts. Travis Wood, an excellent relief pitcher, and also has been a starter in the past with the Cubs in Cincinnati. And Chris Young. Peterson expecting that fastball. It was well located up and fouled straight back.
Yeah,
Jock may have hurt his back.
Yeah, that's not good. It looked like an awkward swing. Twisted him up a little bit there. That's certainly not what Dave Roberts wants to see.
He almost looked like he was determined to swing because he's a really good low ball hitter. And he was attacking one that was up at above the letters.
Tied himself up.
Line to right field for a base hit. Holt will score. They hold Kershaw at third base. And Peterson makes it a 2-1 ball game.
Good to see his back's okay. Karns laid a fastball right there for him. Well placed. He really leverages on that front side. Good stiff front leg. You can tell he's a power hitter because he's using that lower half. Gotta really throw those hips will turn, especially if you leverage off the front side. The hands follow soon after the hips turn. Come through with some power.
Now fastball up and in. And Hud, I wanted to show you how tight that Turner is on home plate. I mean, he's got his back foot at the back of the box, but also on the inside corner of that line, and his hands right over home plate.
Yeah, starts fairly open too. Now he's gonna stride in towards the second baseman. He's gonna come in, and that just tells me that he's able to reach that outside pitch. He's able to get that pitch middle away, and because he's open, hips are already cleared, and he can catch the inside pitch as well.
Yeah, we saw a lot of Toronto Blue Jays do that in the past. Batista, Edwin Encarnacion, Josh Donaldson, right on top of home plate.
And in modern days, now you see the flamingo leg kick. They call it because, you know, you pick up that front foot so high, and then you got to set it down, and that'll affect your timing as a hitter. So that's you have to really be good with the timing and lifting that leg up there in order to be successful consistently, because it's a tough way to go. But you're able to generate a little bit more power that way by loading up the hips.
Is that more the hitter wanting to cover the outside part of the plate, or the fact that he trusts himself on the inside pitch?
No, well, where he stands in that batter's box, that's gonna allow him to get to the outside part of the plate. But it's the load of his hips with that leg kick up that really provides power. And Turner's had a lot of pop the last few years, and he's been successful and comfortable, obviously, lifting that foot up.
27 home runs last year, 90 driven in.
And we'll show you a difference. Bubba Starling, he'll be coming up next inning. Bubba had a flamingo kick like that, and it was messing him up. He couldn't get the timing down. Now we'll show you Bubba now. He's not lifting it up as much.
Turner down the left field line. This will bring 2 home. Kershaw followed by Utley, and it's 4-1 Dodgers. And the Royals have the bullpen busy with Andrew Edwards getting up, with Karns struggling in this second frame.
Yeah, Moose was all over that, and I guarantee you Moose is saying, man, I could knock that down. I should, because he was guarding that line somewhat off of Turner. But we just talked about how up on the plate Turner was, but that was an inside fastball, and he was able to be quick in there and pulled his hands in and got it.
Here is Yasmani Grandal. Strike 1. He gave up the triple and the single, struck out Eibner, and had Kershaw down, and Kershaw hit a chopper back to him, and everything's been a struggle since that time. Kershaw reached on the infield hit, then a walk, a single, a double, and he's thrown a ton of pitches in this second inning. Good breaking ball there.
That was an excellent changeup, man. That ball had good life away. Sold it with his arm speed.
They play Grandal to pull. Saw Arteaga cheating up the middle. Number 68, the Royals shortstop today. Their starter, Alcides Escobar, is with the Venezuelan team along with Salvador Perez. Salvi, of course, out for the rest of the Venezuela tenure.
And with 3 weeks left before the bell rings April 3rd, it gives Salvi enough time to get the inflammation out of his knee, we hope, and be ready for opening day.
Pulled to O'Hearn. The go-to.
Oh, got it out there. Hey now. Uh-oh. Yeah, let's go, fellas. Oh, Pena, good job. Saved a run. O'Hearn was over there thinking, I don't know if he lost track of the outs or not, but Turner at second base, he took off to third, was squeezing Peterson over there, the third base runner.
Yeah, the Royals really have not handled the rundowns well lately. We had a similar situation at first base when Jason Vargas picked off a runner and Samir Duanez was the first baseman, and he threw too early. And O'Hearn forgot the number of outs. He had Holt well off of.
That was Turner. He had Turner.
Turner well off second base.
Turner came all the way down here to third base, but then O'Hearn threw it home, and Pena, it was a short hop pick. He picked it. If Pena misses that, they would have got a run on that. So instead of getting a double play, they saved a run anyway.
But Karns could have been out of it. Next pitch will be his 59th, and you said Island would send him about 65. Well, after being well taxed in a long second inning, he may only go 2.
Yep, command is a little bit off today for Karns.
And he's taking a lot of time in between pitches.
Yeah, too long.
Bellinger, the 9th Dodger to bat in this inning. Advantage Karns at 1-2. In there, strike 3 called, and Karns finally gets out of the second inning. He faces 9 Dodgers, 4 score, and now LA leads the Royals by 3.
Nice house.
The one Dodgers leading the Royals, and the bottom of the order will be coming up in Brian Pena, Bubba Starling, and Humberto Arteaga. Clayton Kershaw, who had not allowed a hit all spring long, allowed a first inning home run to Mike Moustakas, a shot that got out of here pretty quickly to right field.
Yeah, didn't. Kershaw's teammates said, you know what, pick you up here, bud. They certainly did. Taking advantage of Karns seemed to be a little bit off with his command, leaving some fastballs out over the middle.
Brian Pena's been around, of course, with the Royals for several years, but also lately with Detroit and Cincinnati and St. Louis. Switch hitting catcher, batting from the right side. And hits that one pretty sharply. Nice defensive play by Turner. He throws out Brian Pena, one down. So here comes Bubba Starling, and we want to take a look at Bubba because it was very interesting with your conversation in the top of the inning. You said, hey, watch Bubba Starling's new setup now.
Yep, he was a Flamingo style hitter last season and it didn't work with him. His timing was tough. He had a hard time, you know, with his long legs and arms and stuff. You know, it's all. He's just kind of picking his foot up and setting it down now, which is good. It controls your body more. It's a little bit easier for timing. You don't have to have that foot come down right on top of the swing. That's what you got to do when you lift your leg high up like that. See, he's just picking it up barely and stepping it down. So he's under much better control. He's not getting too much out front.
Kershaw quickly has him down 0-2, and then strikes him out on 3 pitches, and the last one was that 91-mile-an-hour well-located fastball.
Yeah, Bubba couldn't even get a swing going there. It's right there. Must have been thinking. Maybe he's thinking breaking ball or something. But 3 and gone.
Here's Arteaga. Strike 1. Broken bat softly struck to the right side. Utley will throw out Arteaga. 1, 2, 3 go the Royals. To the third we go. 4-1 Dodgers.
At Menards Home Improvement.
Big second inning against Nathan Karns, and they have now knocked him out of the game.
Yep, 4 earned runs the big fella gave up today. Not exactly what he was hoping for, but you know, it's his first rough outing of the spring. It's not that big a deal, really. As long as he's getting his work in and getting his pitches in, that's all that really concerns Dave Island.
Yeah, Dave was hoping he would go 4. Instead, he goes 2 because of that long second inning. And now Andrew Edwards out of Gilbertsville, Kentucky, Last year, 3.96 ERA, but a lot of strikeouts, 74 and 61 in the third. He'd like to cut down on the walks.
Yeah, well, it's that big power fastball he's got. Looked like I mixed in a little slider there, first pitch.
On his hands, foul back.
Yep. Little 93-mile-an-hour heater there.
Moose is only able to knock it down. So Culberson reaches for the second time. He's 2 for 2.
Yep, it's going to be a base hit. That ball took a funny hop on Moose, couldn't keep it in his glove.
So let's see if he can keep that fastball, slider, split combination down, maybe get 2 outs in 1 pitch. Tyler Holt the battle, single to left field sharply off of a Karns fastball and knocked in a run. He's now 10 for 18 this spring. Battling for a backup spot in the outfield. They expect to have probably Andre Ethier in left field and Jock Peterson in center and Yasiel Puig in right.
Yep, those guys all stayed home so they can play in tonight's game. Split squad.
Except for Peterson, who's here. Strike. Edwards' fastball can reach 100 miles an hour. He was the Royals' 19th round pick in 2013 out of Western Kentucky.
They like his future at the back end of a bullpen. Good spot there. Big guy at 6'6". Want him to command down 3/4 arm slot.
He had mainly been a fastball slider guy in the past, and a few years ago they had asked him to junk his split finger pitch, but Dave Island brought it back this spring, and he threw it the other day and had a swing and a miss. It could really help him against left-handed batters.
Better believe it. He threw one, I think, first pitch. Had some good action.
Advantage 1 and 2 against Tyler Holt. Royals trying to get back to the postseason after finishing 81 and 81 last year, third in the Central behind Cleveland and Detroit. Ooh, didn't miss by much. Holt even looked at the umpire hoping that Marquez would not ring him up.
It's right where he wants to be.
Holt fighting off a tough fastball, and the radar gun they have here is a slow gun. Ned Yost has talked about that. That was last one was listed at 94 miles an hour, and I think it was a little firmer than that.
Yeah, there's been a couple of pitches thrown by Karns that were in the low 90s that were more mid 90s. It's on the board, but you know.
Runner goes. Grounded off the glove to the second baseman. Cuthbert still has time to throw him out. So the play will go 1-4-3. But Culberson moving to second base, and Dave Roberts has been very aggressive here early.
Yeah, you know, let's play here. If he lets it go, Cuthbert's probably going to make the play anyway, but there was some luck involved with that. He was able to get an out of it. But, you know, all the analytics, all of the new statistics that are in both Dave Roberts and Ned, those managers have been around the game long enough, and they can tell they don't need a radar gun. They can tell how hard the ball is being thrown, the spin rate, all that stuff that they're telling you, the hit speed off of the bat, all the new technological, you know, advances that they've made are important for fans that are not watching, you know, that don't have that knowledge that these other guys do. But now Dave Island told me that he'll get together and he'll combine the spin rate, he'll look at all that statistical analytical stuff, and then use his own judgment by what he sees out of his own eyes. And then they make their decisions based off of all of that. But they don't just go on statistics alone. Eibner.
He hits it well. Bubba going back, and that ball will be up against the wall. Charlie Culberson racing home. Throw to the plate, not in time. Rather, Culberson will score to make it a 5-1 game.
That ball was hit well by Eibner. Got off fastball, looking for it. I got it up there. The wind blowing out to right center field. Bubba had no chance. He got a good break. But what I liked and what you look for is the relay. Bubba picked it up cleanly off the wall, hit Cuthbert right on the letters, which was perfect. Cuthbert's throw was good. That's what you look for. Now you got to get away from the catcher by going outside with the slide. It was done well as too. So, you know, that's what managers will look for. They look for the relay.
That swing by Kershaw. Holy cow.
No, he's looking for a homer.
Yeah, the Royals have had a rough time with their pitching staff lately. Coming into today's game, they had given up 29 runs in their last 3 games, and they've given up 5 in the first 3 innings of this one.
Yikes. Yeah, they've hit pitching, hit a little bit of a little plateau. You know, for some of these pitchers, though, they're not getting innings in. Like Parnell yesterday. Okay, Parnell's, he hadn't pitched in a week. It's hard to get game timing down and game speed when you're not out there pitching. And so there's just not enough innings for all these pitchers they have in camp. So I asked Ned, what are you going to do about that? Well, you know, the evolution of a spring training will eliminate, we'll send some guys down, and they'll get some pitching in down in the minors, and then allow some more opportunity for these guys to get innings up here.
Yeah, because you wonder when camp does break, 5 starters, will they keep 7 or 8 relievers? Kershaw swings and misses and strikes out. Now Edwards to face Chase Utley, who has grounded out, walked, and scored.
You know, I walked in that Dodger locker room there just right before the game started because the manager was late. Dave Roberts getting here. I walked by the training room and there's Utley in the tub. And I said, hey, old man, what are you doing? And I go, I know what you're doing. I was 38 years old, too, when I was playing, and I started my day out in the tub. That's exactly where he was, sitting in that hot tub, getting everything ready to go, getting loose.
I tell you that you've told me several times that regardless of how bad you felt, once you stepped out of that dugout and saw that green grass, and you said there's something about the color of the green grass, the diamond, that just energized you.
The smell, the fans, you know, that'll heal you. You start getting better, getting closer to the game. Then the adrenaline starts pumping up, and then you're all set to go. But at that age, you had to come to the ballpark 2 hours early and stay 2 hours after just to compete with the 22-year-old young players. Because you slow down. But your knowledge is the same. And for Utley and his situation, Dave Roberts will probably keep him under 100 games played this year. You know, he's not going to play as much, so he'll be a lot fresher. This guy's been an everyday player his whole career.
Last year he played in 138 games and hit .252. Had some terrific years with the Phillies. One of his best was in 2007 when he hit .332 with the Phils. He also had 203 hits the year before in 2006.
When they won the World Series in 08?
Yep.
What did he hit that year?
08, he hit .292, scored 113 runs,
Nice.
177 hits, drove in 140, had 33 home runs by a second baseman.
Oh, no wonder they love him.
He's got 250 home runs in the big leagues.
Yeah, no, he's been a player. Nice career.
145 stolen bases.
And he had a chance to sign in different places this year. He was a free agent. There's a lot of teams that want his leadership in there. I mean, and he's happy to stay at home. He was raised in Los Angeles, and he's got a couple of young kids.
Outside corner right there. And Utley started to first base, but Edward gets 2 strikeouts, but does give up a double to Brett Eibner. That makes it 5-1 Dodgers over the Royals. Back out for his 3rd inning of work. He has himself a 5-1 lead. The only run he allowed was a Mike Moustakas home run in the first. Boy, he has been one of baseball's best. 5 consecutive seasons in the top 3 in the Cy Young. 126 wins, 2.37 ERA. I mean, that has HOF written all over it.
Better believe that's right. He's certainly will be candidate when he's ready. He's got some good years left in him.
And here is Billy Burns trying to bunt his way on. Swung at the first pitch he saw, hit it sharply, but grounded out to the shortstop. Billy hails from Atlanta, Georgia. He's 27 years of age. Acquired by the Royals in a trade that sent the Dodgers' current outfielder Brett Eibner to Oakland. Burns swings and misses, and now down in the count. He got into 24 games with the Royals at 281 in 8 starts, and then went 0 for 5 off the bench. Could be in that Dyson role, coming off the bench late, pinch running.
Could be. Doesn't want to hit the ball in the air, although that might have a chance in the sun. Ooh.
And I'll tell you what, it is tough. How about Mike Moustakas' first time up?
Yeah, he'll take that. He wasn't messing around. First pitch he saw, he jumped all over it. I mean, he caught it just right. Didn't have any top spin on it. He got up underneath it. He had a little back spin. Just a probably wind, about 10-mile-an-hour wind blowing out today.
Had a pretty good rip on that heater. Moose had hit 7 home runs in his first 27 games last year, and then suffered that knee injury, which cost him the rest of the year. That one well to the opposite field, and way back is the left fielder, and making the catch is Tyler Holt for out number 2.
Put a charge in it.
Fans, MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, is back and better than ever. Watch every out-of-market regular season game, spring training games, and the 2017 World Baseball Classic all live. Enjoy the best picture quality ever and connected device enhancements. Visit MLB.TV for details. Now Kane, who lined out to the first baseman his first time up. Kind of a soft line drive. One count to Kane. Oh, good breaking ball right in there. Lorenzo grimaced as he looked back at Alfonso Marquez, hoping he wouldn't call it a strike.
Yeah, I was talking with Lorenzo before the game about his, how he's feeling this spring. He said, it's been a little bit different this spring because we don't have all of our guys here. It's not the same. Now that's going to be an infield hit. And he's right. I mean, it's hard to get that good team feel when your guys are off playing in different parts of the country and the world and in the baseball classic. And so it only happens every 4 years, but it won't be much longer, and that'll be over. Guys will get back together. But that ball there, you just want to put it in your pocket.
He'll be able to get back his comedic twin tomorrow, it seems like, as Salvador Perez is expected to be back with the ball club, and he and Lorenzo have just a hilarious relationship. Now the right-handed swinging Soler takes inside for strike ball 1. Kelvin Herrera is forming in the Royals pen. He's pretty quick home.
Yeah, he is.
Get on that slide step.
He doesn't mess around. Tough to steal a base off of.
Soler, big swing, expecting fastball.
I was surprised how good his English is. I introduced him to some fans today as he was walking out. This is just a great opportunity for fans to come down here. The players are accessible. The fans are all watching batting practice on the backfield. I look like a balk. Tricky move there by Kershaw. But anyway, there's some fans out there, and he come walking by all by himself, had his bats and his glove in his hands, going to the locker room, and I said, "Hey, Jorge, can I introduce you to some fans here?" And he said, "Sure." He stopped and used good English and said, "Hey, how are you? Nice to see you. Good to meet you." And the fans were great to meet him. Change there.
Yeah, he said he lives in Florida in the offseason, and I was talking with him. I said, "Did you play other sports?" Because he is a big man, 6'4", 235. Looks like an outside linebacker, and I expected maybe he was a bull rider or a boxer or
Right.
But he said, "Nope, just baseball. That was my love growing up." This ball runs away.
I don't know any players that were bull riders.
I'm just saying he's that big.
Yeah. Well,
maybe he could go.
He might put a saddle on him.
The one where you run for the Bulls over in Spain.
Yeah.
The Bulls would run from him.
No question.
Oh man, good pitch by Kershaw. Strikes out Soler. The Royals lead 1, and we head to the 4th inning of play. Dodgers leading Kansas City 5-1. you by the Missouri Lottery. Every ticket played gives back to Missouri schools, so play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. By Shelter Insurance for your home, auto, and life. We're your shield, we're your shelter. And by the Surprise Recreation Campus. The tradition continues. Look how green the desert is. They've received so much rain in the west. I mean, there are rivers flowing, the streams are running, and beautiful views in the White Tank Mountains, the yellow, purple flowers, blue pines. It's been gorgeous.
They've gotten a lot of rain here this winter, and it sure has made a difference in the desert. Love that drone flying over, giving us those great scene shots there. Good job.
Here is Kelvin Herrera. He is yet to allow a run in a couple of appearances. This is his third. Was recently recording a scoreless inning on Friday versus Oakland. He's retired 6 of the 7 batters he faced, including 4 strikeouts. So Herrera to face hitters 2, 3, and 4. Jock Peterson, Justin Turner, Yasmani Grandal. Karns got the start, gave up 4 in his 2 innings of work. Edwards gave up 1. Now Herrera. These Dodgers hitting .287 in spring, averaging close to 6 runs per game. Right side, Cuthbert. Easy play. And Peterson is out number 1. Karns got the start today, but tomorrow 2 other guys that he's competing with for that 5 spot will go, Chris Young and Travis Wood. And that's in a game that the Royals will be at Salt River Fields against the Colorado Rockies. Turner, meantime, 2 for 2. 2 pulled shots to left field past Mike Moustakas. And they continue to pound him inside, ball 1.
Yep. Dave was telling me that he'll work Herrera in earlier in games, and it won't put him in that 8th and 9th inning until later. A little bit later in spring. Maybe they'll start working him back into their order that they're going to go in to get him used to their roles. But right now they want Kelvin to get his work in and then to go home. He doesn't have to hang around for the rest of the game. Because being the closer, you're there, you're the last guy in usually when you're trying to preserve a win, and so in spring training they let you go home early. Fastball, changeup, and he's working on his slider a little bit more this year, so using it to lefties.
Pulls it to the left side and booted. And so he will reach on the error. As a matter of fact, the first time Turner hit the baseball, he scalded, but they charged Moustakas with an error. And of course, he had the double and drove in 2.
Yeah, well, Moose knows he missed that ball. He could have made that play. It's going to happen. You can see right around the dirt there where he's standing. It's fairly moist still from where they watered it down before the game, but the rest of it, as this hot Arizona sun bakes at the ground, it becomes really hard. I mean, it's harder here in Arizona than it is in Florida because of the moisture in Florida, the humidity. Ball stays down in the infield out there, but here it's hard pan.
And Rex, what you talked about, that moisture, is exactly what I found out about the sun seeming brighter here in Arizona and in the Midwest to the east. That ball gets through the legs of Brian Pena and goes back to the screen, into second base was Justin Turner, who is going on the play. So he'll get a stolen base. But the moisture in the air deflects some of that brightness of the sun in the Midwest and Northeast.
Well,
and here it's so dry that's why it appears so huge.
Well, the scientific explanation is what it is, but I can just tell you from experience that, man, you need glasses in both places, but it's very bright here. And all-day games. Now they'll mix in a few night games, especially later in the season, to kind of get their eyes acclimated to tonight before the regular season starts. What's opening day like? That's about 3 o'clock day. Is that going to be a game in the Minnesota Fizz on the 3rd? I know.
I'll have to check for you, Hud. You always ask me these questions.
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, why can't you ask me questions like, hey, Fizz, what's your favorite color?
I don't have.
Or what's your birthday?
I don't have the media guide here in front of me, so I can't check it. But it is a day game.
I knew it was a day game, but the exact time I didn't have. I just broadcast them one at a time.
Right. Well, there'll be snow, ice, or cold rain. Because in Minnesota, they don't have a roof there anymore.
Hit sharply. Arteaga, nice backhand in the dirt, but O'Hearn is able to dig it out.
Got to have the good hands people out there in the middle. That was a hard shot, man. Good backhanded play. Looked like that might have had a chance for a base hit. Arteaga. Good, solid pick.
Now Herrera to face Cody Bellinger, who has struck out twice. Both times ending innings in the first and the second, as the Dodgers scored 4 in the second and they added 1 more in the third. So Bellinger up for the 3rd time. Fastball upstairs, ball 1.
Let's take a look at the nifty glove work there. Look at that. A little slide, gets up to his feet, all in one motion, making the throw. That's what I'm talking about. You have to have good footwork to be a good infielder. Not as much in the outfield because you have a couple more seconds to react. You don't have to move on contact like these infielders. A lot of these players played soccer growing up, and that helps you with your foot speed and you're stopping and moving left and right. It's a great sport to help you for baseball.
Good pick by O'Hearn at first base. Here in Arizona, the Royals have 3 big league fields and then 1 field where they do stretching and running. Fouled off. And on one of the fields the other day, Joe Randa and John Wathan, I believe, was over there. They were hitting shots at Ryan O'Hearn at first base in the ground off the bat to try and, work on his picks in the dirt. And I don't think there's anybody in baseball better than that than Eric Hosmer.
Yeah, what'll happen is they'll do a little flip to the guy swinging the bat, and he'll swing it, simulating a better swing. Now that's going to hook foul. So a guy, you'll have like somebody feed you a baseball, and you have the bat in your hand, you'll whack it just so you can get a look of what it's like coming off of a live bat, and it gives him a better reaction. Bellinger's not getting cheated. This guy, he takes a rip just out in front of that breaking ball.
And then, Hud, they would also hit fungos from the shortstop at second base position at O'Hearn, like it was a bad throw.
Yeah, and that's what puts a little bit more on it.
And that goes right to the second baseman, Cuthbert. He will throw out Bellinger. The Dodgers do not score, and we head to the bottom of the 4th. Royals trailing 5-1.
That's why that defense helps you. Preserve the pitch count. Good pick.
With you in Surprise, Arizona. Dodgers leading the Royals 5-1. Clayton Kershaw has been sharp, with the exception of the second batter he faced, Mike Moustakas, who drilled a shot out. But Clayton this spring has gone 9 innings, allowed only a couple of hits, and both by Royals. He throws a first pitch curveball to Ryan O'Hearn. Ryan struck out swinging, but a wild pitch was thrown by Kershaw. O'Hearn was able to reach, but he got Cuthbert on a ground out. Ooh, that was a little tight. O'Hearn was the Royals' 8th round pick out of Sam Houston State. He was a high school All-American at Wakeland High School in Frisco, Texas. Another good breaking ball.
Yeah, Kershaw is going to work on that hook against the left-handed batter. O'Hearn, he's got a big bender.
And the Royals started O'Hearn off last year at Class A Wilmington, and he did so well, hitting .352 with 7 home runs in his first 22 games, that he got called up to Northwest Arkansas. Hit .258 with 15 more home runs there. Breaking ball. Will they have a check swing?
Nope.
Didn't go.
Could be it's been a great experience for O'Hearn. He told me that just hanging around the guys, you know, seeing these world champions not on TV anymore, but he's seeing Lorenzo Cain and Moose, some of their star players, has been good for him. Interaction.
Yeah, you told me the other day that you really liked the way he carried himself.
Yeah.
Like a big leaguer.
He's confident.
It's up the middle to the second baseman. Utley throws out O'Hearn, 1 down. Kershaw's got a new right fielder in Stetson Alley. They moved Brett Eibner from right field to center field, so Jock Peterson is done for the day. There is Stetson Alley. Strike to Cheslor Cuthbert. You know, one of the things I like about Cheslor, even though he is a young guy, 24 years of age, I've seen him a couple of times with Jorge Soler, you know, introducing him to people, having fun with him.
Yeah, that's part of it. They're a loose bunch, and it's good to see the camaraderie that they have day to day.
Doesn't miss by much. He got fooled on that off speed that came in at 74 miles an hour. Tried to slow up his whole body, keep his hands back, and
Yeah.
this.
You think? Look at this. He was on one knee. That's the slow bender, I'll tell you. It's all about upsetting the timing of the hitter. And you know, it's important that you have a fastball in the low 90s. And then
Man.
got a nice little changeup working there too.
So he goes up 16 miles an hour, strikes him out with a low fastball.
Yeah, he's got that variation of speed. He's got the fastball. He's got that change of speed with the curve and the change, the heater, the fastball. I mean, you know, he's got it all.
Brian Pena with a 2-hopper to the second baseman. Utley throws out Brian. That will do it. Kershaw 4 innings of 1-run baseball.
Pretty nice outing for the ace.
5-1 lead over the Royals, top of the 5th inning. Advance, do you want to host your company, family, sports team, or other groups out of the ballpark for a special occasion this spring? Single game suites and party areas are now available for regular season games throughout the month of April and May. Call 816-504-4040 or email groupsales@royals.com for rates and availability. Well, Mike Minor will take over, and he's been an interesting story, Rex. It looks like he could make the bullpen. I mean, he's been pretty tough. This is his 4th appearance of the spring, most recently allowing 4 runs, 2 earned on 5 hits and 2 innings on Wednesday.
Yeah, they signed him to a 2-year deal last year. He was coming off some surgery, and they know he can do it. He's established. He's a very successful pitcher for the Braves for 5 years.
He's had the problems with his shoulders in the past.
But look, he's very smooth. He's got a very nice pitch repertoire. He'll go 89 to 94 with his fastball. He's got a cutter that looks like a slider, a curve, and a big changeup. His changeup's one of his most effective pitches.
And he did not pitch in the major leagues last year, spending time at AA Northwest Arkansas and AAA Omaha as part of 2 separate rehabs assignments. Oh, good pitch there. That was that good cutter that he's throwing this year.
Yeah, Dave said sometimes it'll look more like a slider, but that's an effective pitch, especially to righties. Righties, you get a little pitch little break coming in like that to go along with the changeup moving away. It's just that late movement is what fools the hitter.
And I do remember him having a good curveball when he was with the Atlanta Braves, but he's mainly been fastball, slider, change. He's got an excellent changeup too, cutter.
I mean, you know, in 2013, he threw 204 innings for the Braves. He was a starter.
Won 13 games, 3.21 ERA.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they knew what they were getting out of him. He beat him inside there. He couldn't keep it fair. Culberson.
And he is a former 1st-round pick out of Vanderbilt University. 7th overall back in 2009. Turned 29 the day after Christmas. And he will walk Culberson, who's been on base 3 times with a triple, a single, and now a walk.
Yeah. Culberson's having a nice day.
Tyler Holt has single driven in a run, scored 1, and also grounded out. down.
Yeah, and that's the key. Dave Island was telling me before the game for Minor, his last outing, he was up. He was getting hit around a little bit, like you mentioned the numbers there. He was up in the zone. He says today he's got to get down in the zone. He's got to focus down, execute his pitches down, and he'd like to see it right here to induce a ground ball double play.
And I tell you what, when he throws the good one, he's got a Mark Langston-like pickoff move.
Oh, nice.
Really good pickoff move.
Yeah.
Falling behind Tyler Holt 2-0 now. A conversation from Brian Pena. The Royals with Kelvin Herrera as their closer and their 8th inning guys. It could be Soria, it could be Strom. Soria, of course, with Team Mexico in the World Baseball Classic. And then you have Mike Minor. And then guys battling for the back end of that bullpen. Travis Wood, of course, will be on the team somewhere, whether it's as a starter or as a reliever. But Wood,
ouch. Yeah, right off the top of the foot.
You know who I'm really interested in seeing is Seth Maness. He hasn't pitched in a big league game yet. They're bringing him along slowly after his elbow flare-up last August with the Cardinals.
Yeah, I was telling you a couple days ago that he looked good in his side session, but maybe we'll see him the last week. Still a week or so away.
I thought Albuquerque pitched well yesterday. And one guy we haven't mentioned who won't be available until April or May is Brian Flynn. Fouled off. Who fell through the roof of his barn. And
tough break for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard enough.
You know, my dad used to say, never take another man's job from him. Brian, hire someone to go up on your roof.
Well,
you're too important.
Yep.
Ground ball right to the second baseman. A 4, a 6, and a 3. Double play.
That's down in the zone right there. That's what Dave Island want to see. You know, I was down on the field before the game and talking with Dave Robertson, and he had them move the screen away from them as they're sitting out on the dugout again. Okay, and they see Ned over there. They're behind the screen, but Dave, he didn't want to see it. He didn't want it because it's a distraction. Because you know you got to see through the screen. He likes the clarity. And I said, "Are you still that quick? You can move out of the way of one of those check swings?" He goes, you know what? I'll take my chances." It's all right.
I want the screen.
He moved it. He told the trainer, or no, the groundskeeper.
Hey, if I'm pitching, I want the L screen.
I know, exactly. Why not? You know, if you have the screen, it's like the expanded screens over the dugouts for the fans. You know, you're more comfortable looking down at your phone or writing on a piece of paper. There's another good swing by Eibner.
He'll stop at first base. Starling, with an excellent arm, is able to get the throw back to Cuthbert. So a 2-out hit by Brett Eibner. Now the batter will be Winston Sawyer. Winston, both a catcher and infielder. This is his 8th year in pro ball.
Man, that's a grind.
25 years old.
Yep. Must have signed out of high school.
He was the Orioles' 8th round pick in 2010. To third, Moustakas goes the short way. They get the force, and Minor with a shutout 5th inning. bottom of the 5th inning, and Clayton Kershaw's afternoon is over. He was terrific. Gave up just 1 run, and that was a home run by Mike Moustakas. Did strike out 4. Had not allowed a hit in his first 2 spring training starts, but gave up 2 hits in this one. And now Kershaw hands the baseball to Fabio Castillo. 6'1" right-hander out of the Dominican Republic. Last saw action on March 8th against the Brewers when he pitched 1 inning, gave up 2 runs. This is his 11th year in pro ball. I mean, he's been all over, including playing for the Eagles of the Korean baseball organization. I thought it was like the musical group, the Eagles.
Yeah, no, Fizz, they're living on a dream.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you're going to keep it up, man. You know, you got to believe or you'll never get there. But then as the years pile up, you know, you keep looking at that clock going, wow, you know what? And then you hear some negative forces in the back of some of your friends or somebody saying, hey, you know what? Maybe you should start going back to school or doing something else. And that's the worst. Because there's one thing's guaranteed a ball player. You'll be an ex-player. And they don't, players, none of them wants to see the end.
Bubba hits it sharply, but the shortstop right there playing him perfectly throws out Starling. He is 0 for 2.
Okay, Bubba's only seen 4 pitches today.
You know, a guy who was giving me that example today, and he goes, Fizz, you broadcast his games, you and HUD. And he goes, I played with him. Scott Sharp was telling me he played with him at Winston-Salem. He said, Brendan Donnelly. He said he was with like 7 minor league teams, independent ball all over the place, and he just wouldn't quit. And he wound up winning the World Series with the Angels.
In 02, he got him a ring.
Yeah, Scott was reminding me, he said, you know, his first major league win was in Game 6 of the World Series. Then his second major league win was in the All-Star game.
That's crazy. No, he had a nice fastball cutter, and he fit, but he never gave up. Good swing.
Arteaga with a base hit. So he is on. And there's 1 out with 1 on. And the batter will be Billy Burns. But that is the intestinal fortitude you have. I mean, Castillo, 11th year in pro ball, Double-A, Triple-A last year, 3-7 record, 4.52 ERA. Just loves the game.
Okay, but in the meantime, you got to start looking around and thinking about what you're going to do next, because they could tap you on the shoulder at any moment and say, hey, you didn't make the team this year and you're out, and then you go home and and the phone doesn't ring, and the season moves on without you. And that's how it ends for a lot of guys.
That's why character is so important, how you carry yourself.
Yeah. And I remember Dave Winfield, when I was a young player with the Yankees, he said, hey, look, keep your eyes open and look around you. Be shaking hands with people, because people here that are come to these big league games, they own corporations, and you're going to need a job. And I seen you play. You may not be here much longer. And he was giving me advice, and I was like, gosh, I was 22 years old. I didn't want to hear that. I was too young. I didn't want to hear it's going to come to an end. But he was right, and sure enough, he said, whenever you go back to the minor leagues, you can ask the PR director whenever they need a player for a luncheon. You'll tell them you're available. You'll get to tell your story and get out there with the people. So yesterday, we're in Goodyear, and a lot of these young Royals were coming in, and they were coming into the dugout, and there was 500 Royals fans on the side over there clamoring for their autographs, and they all kind of went in the dugout and started sitting in the dugout. And I went in there and I go, hey fellas, get out there and sign for those people. Come on, man. These folks come out here to watch you play, and plus, you're a nobody now. You want them to know who you are, and when you go out there and sign their autographs, sign your name legibly so they can read it when they go home tonight. And they say, look at all these autographs I got. You just scribble your name on there. It does you no good at all. Write your name where they can read it. And you know what they did? They all got up and went and signed autographs.
And then they came over and they said, who's that guy with the red hair is telling us what to do?
Hey, I can't help it. I'm doing it for them. It's important that the fans get to know you. You want them to know who you are. You know, Bubba was one of them. Bubba Starling. I said, you know what? You're a young star already, but get down there and take care of the people. And they did.
Now the 2-2 pitch to Billy Burns. Runs outside. Full count.
Because you never know that young man that you signed that ball for, and you're so kind to him. Maybe you give him a batting glove. Well, his father owns a company and a corporation in Kansas City or somewhere, and the dad goes, hey man, I like that guy. So he's done, and you know you get a job that way. Never know, Fizz, in this business. You meet a lot of people.
Burns pops it up. Coming in quickly, the right fielder Stetson Alley to make the catch.
That's two
out.
Two pop-ups off of Burns' bat. He does not want to do that. He wants to stay on top and hit that ball on the ground, utilize that speed. All right, got a little action going down there. Yeah, looks like Kershaw is staying in just to go work on some stuff. Maybe he's going to continue to throw. And sometimes you'll see that. Maybe he already did throw. He's done now. He probably threw an extra 10, 15 pitches. Didn't quite get to the limit they wanted him to get to.
Here is Mike Moustakas. Strike one.
It's firm.
Mike hit a home run out off of Kershaw in the first. Fly it out to left field last time up. They play him to pull. We have seen teams play three infielders in the right side, with the Dodgers more straight up, although the second baseman way around and the shortstop a little closer towards second base.
I'm looking forward to seeing Moose rifle one to left field. And wait back on one. Just hit the ball hard twice, both times off Kershaw. Get that left field stroke working. Foul.
They said it's a fair ball.
Oh well.
And it is an out. The final out of the fifth.
Begging for him.
5-1 Dodgers. The Dodgers with a 5-1 lead, scoring 4 runs in the second, 1 more in the third. And by the way, the World Baseball Classic is currently going on through March 22nd. Don't miss your chance to see the best players represent and compete for their country. Catch all the action on TV on MLB Network and MLB.com, or go watch the games in person by getting tickets at WorldBaseballClassic.com. And Danny Duffy scheduled to go for the USA Today to be their starter today against Canada.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting to watch. And did you watch? You didn't by chance catch the game last night, USA and Dominican? That was exciting.
Danny signed a big contract. He wants to be forever Royal. He loves Kansas City. Moved there. 12-3 last year. This was his breakout season where all of a sudden the consistency shined. To the right side, yeah. O'Hearn.
Oh, he's going to love it. Now, you just hope that in that atmosphere, last night, Fizz, there was 33,000 people. And there's never been that many people in Marlins Park in Florida for the Dominicans and USA. It was awesome, man. It was playoff atmosphere. So when you're a guy who's not quite ready, it's early in spring training, and you're in that atmosphere, the adrenaline gets pumping. You just hope nobody gets hurt. But man, this is good for baseball. Baseball wants to grow the game worldwide, and that's what this is all about every 4 years. And it's exciting. I tell you, the fans love it. Marlins Park has never been sold out before. Never been a sellout there in that ballpark until last night, yesterday.
How about that?
Yeah, and so, you know, the excitement's there, and we just hope there's no more casualties.
Mike Minor to Stetson Ollie. Ollie out of Orlando. And
so I was listening to Ned before the game, Fizz. Somebody asked him about the World Baseball Classic, and did Ned like it? He says, well, all of us that are on this side of it don't want our players hurt. But if you were a player, wouldn't you want to play for your country? If you were one of the best players? Yeah, I mean, it's exciting for these guys. They love it. There's a pride about it. And it's different. It's different. It's playoffs in March. And that's what presents danger, because they're not quite ready yet. But so far, so good. But on that relay throw last night, when Butera knocked over Salvi, Francisco Rodriguez, the pitcher who was out of position, who relayed that ball, blew his groin. And he's out.
Minor gets the strikeout. It's his first of the day. And how about that? The Royals' #1 and #2 catchers involved in a collision.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. But just the excitement part of it, man. And Ned said, look, if I was a player and I was good enough and they wanted me, I would love to play. So that's just what we're in with. And I can't wait to watch Danny pitch. What time does that get? It comes on a little bit later.
I think it's coming on.
I'll check it out.
Pretty much right now.
Yeah, check it out.
You know, one of the surprise teams in the WBC has been Colombia. They've been playing some really terrific baseball. Boy, the U.S. barely beat them on Friday. Took 10 innings before Adam Jones got the game-winning hit. Here's Turner, who's been on base all three times smacking it at Mike Moustakas. He pulls this one foul. U.S. plays in about 1 hour. Duffy to get the start against Canada. I have seen the starting lineup to see if Hosmer's at first base or Paul Goldschmidt.
Yeah, Dominican beat Colombia 10-3 today.
Oh, when I was looking early, it was a close game early, but the Dominicans opened up. Outplay. So Minor has Turner down in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Mike has an exceptional changeup. He always has been tough by right-handed hitters, fading down and away.
Turner does a nice job of getting fully extended on his swings. He's got a beautiful swing. Now, some hitters use 2 hands and they follow through with both hands on the bat. Other guys let go with their top hand and they get extension. They stay through the ball. And Turner's like that. He has a one-hand takeoff, and he's able to get fully extended with his swing and get that ball out in front, trying to stay inside of it. We talked about him right up on top of the dish.
Tried to stay in on Turner. Flip foul. Stays inside, trying to tie him up. By the way, the Royals with a couple of defensive changes in this inning. With Merrifield as the new second baseman, and Garen Cecchini is at third base. His brother is playing for Team Italy. Gavin Cecchini, who is a prospect in the New York Mets organization, a shortstop. And Italy right now playing Puerto Rico and losing that game 9-3. Turner hits it in the air. Bubba shading his eyes, fighting that sun, but making the catch, and that will do it. 2 sharp innings by Mike Minor.
We're the hometown heroes of
Day and show the neighbors your raised Royal by flying your very own flag designed specifically for Greater Kansas City Day supporters. Limited edition flags are available for a $10 donation to Royals charities. Flags can be purchased online now at royals.com/flag or at KC area price choppers from April 7th through April 10th.
Nice.
Raised Royal. Well, here's the upcoming schedule. We'll open against the Minnesota Twins. That's a 2:30 first pitch.
There you go. Day game.
That's what time coverage starts. I think it's 3:15 first pitch.
You got it.
2:30 is on Fox Sports Kansas City.
That's right.
And then we have Tuesday off in the Twin Cities, 2 more with the Twins, and then 3 at Houston before we come home. The opener against the Oakland A's.
We'll have Monty and Joel for our pregame show and postgame, getting into the swing of things. Fizz, it'll be really exciting. Looking
Joel
forward
came
to
down here for 1 day, worked 1 day and out of here.
I'm through with him. No, I'm not, Joel. That's not your scheduling, but we'll take you anytime we can get you.
Fabio Castillo stays in the game, and Lorenzo Cain is up for the 3rd time. He's lined out, singled. Cain, Soler, and O'Hearn scheduled to bat for KC in this 6th. Shallow center field, and getting there and making a nice basket catch is the center fielder Brett Eibner.
Robbing a hit from Lorenzo Cain. Good break. Looked like it was going to fall. Tough sun, too. That sun, look at the shadow. See a shadow right behind you like that? Means it's directly overhead. Got to battle it. Good play. And that's what Bob Guerin was telling me, the bench coach for Dave Roberts and the Dodgers. He's impressed with Eibner's outfield ability. And you know, if you're a center fielder, in shortstop, second baseman, defense comes first. Although nowadays in the modern game, you got to be able to hit to play those spots too. Used to be you could hide your worst hitters in the middle, but they had to have good hands. Be able to make those plays because that's what most of the balls are hit up the middle. Best players: catcher, shortstop, second base, center fielder. Everybody up the middle. That's where you want to, you know, if you're going to pick somebody for your team. You know, you might take a Mike Trout, maybe a McCutcheon, or somebody who could play center field and roam. Maybe a good shortstop for you.
Francisco Lindor.
Yeah, or Raul Mondesi. Young player like that. He's got a great future ahead of him. And a report on Mondesi today too is he was back to activities today.
Yeah, I was watching him take batting practice. That's a good sign.
Yep, I saw him in the cages this morning.
And what they're doing is they will take another neurological test they did this morning. It's part of that concussion protocol clearance, and they turn in the paperwork to Major League Baseball. But he said he's fine, and he is hoping to get into tomorrow's game.
Yep.
And that was after the collision he had the other day.
And you know, I had a nice long session with George Brett, which is always interesting. When you get here early, you know, you go down there and they're in the cages. George came over and sat with me, and it was so great. He had me cracking up. I had a headache. I was laughing so hard. It's just some of the stuff. And then we started talking. We were watching Mondesi turn on the machine, and the machine had all the balls in it, and we're watching him swing, and I'm saying, man, look at him from both sides of the plate, George. And he goes, yeah, Hud, but you know, he looks good in the cage, but when he gets in the game, he's swinging at 90% effort. That's too much effort, because by the time when you get out there in the game, the adrenaline gets pumped, you're swinging too hard and you're missing. You know, he'll get out there and swing at the first pitch, a slider in the dirt. You've got to slow it down. You're better off going in the batting or going up to the box, game situations, swinging at about 60%, 70.
Soler to center field, and here comes Eibner. This time it will drop in front of him. And Jorge with his third hit of the spring.
He got a base hit. All right. There you go. So what George was saying is that, you know, the adrenaline the player gets, and you go up there and you get in the game, you get too excited and you get too much, and it takes you out of your game. So George became the Hall of Famer that he is because he was able to relax and go up there and be relaxed and hit it at 50, 60% effort. And then in a reaction game, you're quicker with your reaction. Your fast twitch muscles react faster when you're loose. Your hands are relaxed.
Ryan O'Hearn to left field.
Out. Oh,
Soler was tagging at first base, but then goes back to the bag.
No chance. So you heard him yell tag and tag. That's what the middle infielder does, that's going out to the outfielder. He's peeking behind him and look at the runner, and then when he sees that, he tells the outfielder. You got to have eyes for the outfielder if you're an infielder, because he's concentrating on catching that ball.
Whit Merrifield up for the first time. Came in defensively that last half inning for Cheslor Cuthbert. And that will get Soler into scoring position.
You know, Fizz, another thing I noticed today, sometimes just watching every day, you notice little things that the players nowadays bring one bat out to hit with in batting practice. And I was like, you know, I used to bring 2 or 3 bats out because we used ash. We didn't have the advantage of maple. They have maple wood now, and the wooden bats are so much better that they're not going to break them. They're confident. They bring one bat out for batting practice. And I was like, wow, really? Let me see that wood. You know, and they let me check it out. I mean, it's totally different, the lumber that they swing nowadays.
Well, maybe it wasn't the wood's fault why you had to bring 2 or 3 bats out.
No, it was my fault a lot because, you know, you do miss hit, but you don't miss hit in batting practice. The guy's only throwing 60 miles an hour, but I miss hit a lot. But we had ash. It's been different.
Time Merrifield trying to find his groove. He was 4 for 23 this spring. Does have 1 triple, trying to get Soler home. Get the Royals back in this game. They currently trail by 4. Good fastball there at 94.
You see Whitley's bat there. Look at the end. See the end, how that's cupped like that, and also it's so bright, the color of it. The end of that bat, when he checks his swing, do you think the umpire is going to see that bat come through the zone because it's white at the end? Yeah. So Freddie Lynn, great baseball player, told me, hey, you know what? Why don't you color that end with get a black Sharpie, a marker, and color the end of that bat. Color it black, because it could make it dark. Because it's white like that, and when you check your swing, that umpire sees that white cross the plate, and he's going to ring you up. And I went, wow, it's interesting. That's what you do when you're a veteran player. You pass the game on. Pass it on. Give them tips. They'll take the walk.
Things in Merrifield with the walk.
But, you know, also using a black bat at nighttime and night games as an infielder, I couldn't see him swing through the zone, so I wouldn't get as good a jump on the ball when the guy hit it.
Interesting.
Yeah, so here I am now, and I'm going, wow, I never even saw his bat come through the zone. I'm going to use a black bat. I want a colored bat. I want a dark bat. Because if he gets a late break on that ball I hit to his left or right, that's the difference between a base hit or not.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's all kinds of little things by playing the game you can try to figure that's going to help you overall in a hard game as it is.
Ryan Pena right at the right fielder who will make the catch, and that will do it for Kansas City in the 6th.
Well, Soler got him a knock.
8 days.
Four runs in the second inning and one more in the third. They hold a 5-1 lead as we hit into the 7th inning. And fans, get your hands on an exclusive Eric Hosmer bobblehead when you jump on board with a full, half, or quarter season ticket package. I mean, look at that bobblehead. That is fantastic. And Hosmer's bobblehead commemorates his MVP at the 2016 All-Star Game. For seating, call 1-800-6-ROYALS or email seasonsales@royals.com. Well, Malcolm Culver will be the pitcher in this inning, and Scott Sharp, who is our assistant general manager of baseball operations, he could not say enough kind things about Malcolm Culver, the young man that he is, his perseverance in the big leagues and the way he carries himself. And he said, you know what, I want to get to the big leagues, but I want to get here with the Kansas City Royals.
Yeah, hey, look, why not? First class bunch of players and operation. But he's a guy who's got a nice fastball. Heavy fastball is what Dave Island told me. Heavy. And that means he's got some sink to it. He's going to go 93 to 94. Good slider. And a nice changeup.
And this is his 6th appearance of the spring. He's retired 15 of the 20 batters faced. He's recorded 4 straight scoreless outings.
He's an up-and-comer.
Yasmani Grandal is the batter. And he rolls that one down the third base line. Tough play. Cicchini's got no chance.
Too much spin on the ball. He cued it. See, look, he's going to throw that ball off. Probably has a little cut in it. But, you know, when you hit one off the end like that, ball's spinning, man. And it gets in your glove, and it's still spinning. Tough to make a play on that one. Yeah, watch him. No chance.
It almost looked like he was going to put it in his pocket.
Yep, ball had eyes on him.
And they're taking a long look at Cody Bellinger, who has practically played every single game of Cactus League play. He is their #1 prospect.
Gonzalez is gone. He's playing for Team Mexico. They might be eliminated today.
Yeah, their first baseman is Adrian Gonzalez. Forsythe expected to be their second baseman. Corey Seager, tremendous shortstop, and Justin Turner at third.
Seager has a little bit of rib cage issue right now. Should be ready for opening day.
Bellinger's just 21 years of age. Raised right here in the Phoenix area. He was born in Chandler, Arizona, part of the metropolitan area of Phoenix, but lives in Scottsdale now. He was the Dodgers' 4th-round pick in 2013.
Canada USA Fizz is on tonight at 7 o'clock Eastern, so we'll get to watch it again. Just get home. Good to see Danny Duffy perform.
Culver going upstairs to strike out Bellinger, who is 0 for 4 in this game.
Blew that ball right by him.
Now Culver will face Drew Jackson, who is getting his first action at batter's box. He came on defensively, ground ball third base side, but past Cicchini into left field for a hit. So 2 Dodgers on. Boy, they have had some seeing eye hits in this game.
That's right. That's the idea. Hit it where they aim. Little action for Jackson.
Tyler Holt comes up for the 4th time. He is singled to drive in a run, scored, and grounded out twice. Facing Malcolm Culver, who went 4-5 with a 3.86 ERA and 6 saves last year in minor leagues. Gets a strike across. He spent the year with Omaha, the Storm Chasers, our AAA franchise. We're down, maybe get another one of those ground balls.
How about it? Roll one up here. Let's see if Merrifield.
There's another strike, 0-2.
Get him some action now over there.
In the dirt. Tried to get Holt to chase. New catcher is Zane Evans for the Royals.
Over 9,000 people here today in Surprise Stadium. Nice crowd.
Yeah, we'll see a lot more because spring break is this week and next, depending on where your kids go to school. And what a place to come. Surprise, Arizona. Beautiful area. Great hiking to our west in the White Tank Mountains. And beautiful. I mean, so many baseball parks within 15 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Seattle, San Diego, down in Peoria, Glendale. You've got the Dodgers and White Sox. You've got the Reds and Indians in Goodyear, and the Royals and Rangers right here in Surprise.
Yep, that's the beautiful part about Arizona. Florida, you got to take road trips, and you just spend the night. None of these players want to spend the night in spring training anywhere.
I just wish they had a spring training complex in Sedona. That is pretty country.
Yeah, but you know, Fizz, a lot of these visitors that come down here take a hike like you do and don't bring enough water, and they've haven't been
I always
rescued.
bring plenty of water.
Well, yeah, but you know, some of them aren't thinking. Tester for Dozier.
Stacy and I have our granddaughters coming in this week, and we're hoping to do some hiking in the White Tanks in Sedona.
But have you been watching, or do you watch the news at all? You watch the local news here. There have been 15 rescues of people that get up there and they get stranded. They get dehydrated.
Well,
they got issues.
Aren't you Debbie Downer?
But think they got that phone, thank goodness, and they can call 911 and say, we're stranded, we can't get out. It's dangerous.
I'm a responsible grandparent.
All right, be careful.
We're out now, and Brett Eibner launches one deep to left, and right at the fence is Billy Burns to bring it down.
Oh, Eibner thought he had him on.
Have the lead over the Royals, and they scored early, 4 runs off of starting pitcher Nathan Karns in the second inning, and then Andrew Edwards came out and gave up 1 in the third, but the pitching has been very good since by Kelvin Herrera, Mike Minor, and Malcolm Culver. Raul Ibanez, what a great guy he was for the Royals for so many years, and then of course part of a terrific team in 2014 that went to the World Series.
Yeah, Raul, I got a chance to talk to him before the game. He's in Dodger Blue. He's a special assistant. And also doing some color work on TV. Last season, Dodgers were stellar. They won 91 games. How about that? ERA, on-base percentage, they had it all. Except they just couldn't get by the Cubs. The Cubs are a little bit too strong. Good games, though.
Yeah, Ralston Cash is the new pitcher. And he is a right-hander out of the state of Georgia. Selected by the Dodgers in the second round in 2010. And in the media guide, he has a Raleigh Fingers mustache. And I'm trying to see TV. No, he's changed a little bit.
Well, yeah, it's not curled up. He didn't bring any wax with him.
Yeah.
got to have the wax to curl that handlebar up.
Pete O'Brien hitting for the first time and pops it a mile high to right. Tough play for Stetson Ollie, but he is able to fight that sun and make the catch. Pete O'Brien is the first out. Looks like Arteaga's going to go the whole way. He has been the shortstop for all 7 innings, and now batting in the bottom of the 7th. Was able to knock a single to center field for his last time up. But Ralston Cash in the minor leagues for 6 years, a 21-21 record, a 3.7 ERA. Early in his career he was a starter, but the last 4 seasons he has been coming out of that bullpen.
Yeah, you know, in the program he's got long hair and that handlebar mustache. He's shaved his hair, still got the stash, but no handlebar.
Well, he had his best year in pro ball last year, going 9-3 with 2 saves and posting a 2.87 ERA at both AA and AAA. So perhaps this will be the year that he makes it to the bigs, because there still are spots available in that Dodger bullpen. Obviously Kenley Jansen will be their closer. Had a terrific year last year and re-signed with the ball club. 47 saves. Fields and Dayton, Avalon expected to be there. Arteaga swings and misses. The count is even 2-2. Cash with the pitch, and it's a bit high. Kyle Farmer is the new catcher. He's working with Cash, and Kyle Garlick is the new left fielder. Matt Beattie at first base, taking over for Cody Bellinger. And there is a walk. The Royals' number 9 batter, Roberto Arteaga.
Time for Billy Burns to hit a gapper.
Love to watch him run.
Yeah, keep that ball out of the air, although he jolted one out of the ballpark a few games ago. Yeah, you know, that bullpen, you know, they save some of their guys because of their split squad that they have today. One game tonight, you know, Sergio Romo's a part of them. Baez.
Runner goes, and Burns protecting the plate on the hit and run. Fouls it off.
You know, Brandon League, who's the veteran with us, had a chance to talk to him today about his chances of making the bullpen. He's on a split contract. If he makes the big league, he gets a certain amount for salary, and in minor leagues a salary. But he said he hadn't pitched in 2 years, and he needs to get strength back in his shoulder. He has some shoulder problems, but he's well on his way. And he said that, you know, eventually you go down to the minors, and when there's a spot open and something happens, hopefully he'll be ready to step in. He's a veteran. He's 9+ years in the big leagues for the Royals and their bullpen. He's a veteran, along with Al Albuquerque.
Well, I thought that Burns had struck the baseball, but he did not, and that's why it went as a wild pitch. He was trying to protect the plate on the hit and run, but did not strike the baseball. And that's why Arteaga now at second base. Burns down in the count, 0-2. Five hits for Billy this spring. Double, triple, home run. And another one skips in the dirt. And Arteaga will take third. The Royals right now still in it, down by 4, but they would love to at least tack one on in this 7th inning. And Burns wants to continue to make a good impression, to make the big league club out of camp. I mean, you've got to imagine that Gordon, Kane, Soler, and Orlando are locks for the outfield. Burns, because of his ability to run. Sliced foul.
Because, you know, I'm looking behind the backstop here where all the scouts are sitting. There's 15 Major League scouts today watching. That's half of baseball's here watching these young players. Burns looked like he had an emergency hack. But the whole key is the reason that they're here is they're watching all these young players. That might fall.
Billy into shallow right center, and that will drop. Arteaga will score. Burns is out at second base.
That's a good try, though. That's the kind of speed you like to see on a little doinker like that, trying to take 2. He just started his slide a little too soon. It slowed him down by the time he got to the bag, or else he might have been safe. Slide later, you get there sooner. Watch him. Look at him. He's thinking 2 all the way, and he hits that bag, and there he goes. I was reading his mind. Look at the second baseman saying, okay. See how he started to slide so soon, it slowed him down.
Well, that center fielder made a nice play.
Sure he did. It's Holt out there.
Holt moved from left field. Eibner now out. And Cicchini batting for the first time. Karen Cicchini. Told you about his brother playing in the WBC for Team Italy, and who's a Mets prospect. And this young man, Cicchini, came up with the Boston Red Sox. At one time was their number 10 prospect.
Yeah, and he said that it's very similar. You know, Red Sox are all close, and so are the Royals. He says it's a tight-knit bunch. But, you know, there's so much character on the Royals missing right now because of the WBC. I mean, you know, you take Salvi, Escobar, you take Hosmer, all those guys away from the team.
Duffy and Butera.
Denny Duffy, Butera. I mean, that's half the team.
Soria.
Yeah, I mean, you know, so there's. But Cicchini, he'll take the walk.
Royals have cut it to 3. Terrence Gore will bat for the first time.
You hear that little girl down there?
Yep.
Rooting for the Dodgers. And our field microphones are right down there. It's how cute. It's so great. These ballparks are intimate, Fizz. You know, no wonder they flock to spring training, the fans, because you can get down close. You know, you can follow the players in the backfield. You know, you can talk to them. It's so much easier than it is in the regular season.
We're taking a strike, 1-1. One and 2. Royals at one time had a 1-0 lead on Mike Moustakas' first inning home run off Clayton Kershaw, but Nathan Karns ran into trouble and allowed 4 runs in the second. Andrew Edwards gave up 1 in the third, and the Royals have rallied for 1 more in the 7th to cut it to 5-2.
Chris, if you notice the D on the Dodger cap rather than LA, do you like it?
No, I like the LA. I'm just used to that.
Yeah, you know, that D reminds me of the Japanese team there, the Dragons.
Ford chases one in the dirt. That'll do it for the Royals in the seventh. They score one to cut it to 3. To 2 in the top of the 8th inning. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Kansas City Royals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals. Scott Alexander comes out of the bullpen, and this is a name we need to talk more about, Rex, because he has really opened some eyes this spring. We have told you about his fight with diabetes last summer, but he is stronger, and it just seems like he has better finishes on his pitches on that good sinker slider.
Better believe it. He's finishing his slider just the way Dave Iden likes it, down and into the righties. Makes it tough for a right-handed hitter to square that ball up.
But boy, they have a lot of left-handers in that bullpen. Matt Strahm, Mike Minor, Brian Flynn when he is healthy, Travis Wood, Scott Alexander. And I would imagine one of those 15 scouts you were talking about taking a look at Scott.
Yeah, they're all looking for players. Talent, that's how you win World Series, and the Royals know that. But here's the other key. You have to have the talent, but your talent better know the fundamentals of baseball. If you don't know the fundamentals and you can't hit cutoff men and you can't do the relays, you can't do the little things it takes in baseball, you won't win. You got to have it. And the Royals, that's the Royals way. They're good defenders out in the outfield. You know, they make the plays on the infield. Look at the gold gloves they got around the diamond. You know, this is an important part of winning baseball. Sure, it's hard to win, and you know, we've talked about that over the last few years, especially to win back-to-back seasons like the Royals did in 14 and 15. But you know, the Dodgers, they're looking for that combination. Andrew Friedman, the president of operations for the Dodgers, he came up into our booth and he said hello, and I congratulated him on where his Dodgers are headed. You know, they're heading in the right direction. But he looked at the ring that I was wearing. He said, we're looking for one of those, and we're hopeful that we can play you guys in the World Series. Another ball that had eyes on it. Gotta know fundamentals in baseball. And the Royals work on that every day.
And now Jose Miguel Fernandez. This was a young man they signed out of Cuba. He's 28 years old, but tremendous talent. Scott falling behind the first two batters that he's faced here in the 8th inning. And then he just kicked at the mound, angry with himself, falling behind 3-0 to Jose Miguel Fernandez. Ball 4. Alley, the batter, he struck out his last time up. Scott with that good sinker slider combination. Maybe he can keep one down and get just this. Arteaga, second base 1, first base 2, a double play.
Hey, Arteaga gave Merrifield a tough ball to handle there. He's coming in like that, and he flipped it and jammed him. But Merrifield was able to make a nice recovery and catch and throw and get the double play. Watch this now. He's coming in. He's going to throw it really hard. And Merrifield almost lost it. But good job of recovering and trusting your hands. Merrifield let me put his glove on the other day too. Now, Fizz, and it's a it's beautiful glove. Now, the glove in the pocket is an H pocket. Okay, and I never liked an H pocket when I was playing in the infield because I was afraid my fingers would get caught up in the webbing of the pocket, so I would have a closed back. So it just depends on your particular feel of what you like. But Merrifield's glove is ready to go, man. It's beautiful. And I was watching Hosmer last night, and I was checking out his glove because we've talked about him trying to find his backup glove, because the other one with the leather was wearing out, and it was his A glove from last year. So he told me he was going to get it redone and totally refurbished. But these guys, they love their leather. That's how they make a living. So it's like a carpenter that has his hammer. You got to have the tools. And it's interesting to go around and check these guys and see what kind of leather they got and how they prepare it and how they use it.
Alexander has Brendan Davis down to the count 1-2, and then strikes him out. So good job by Alexander bouncing back, but he got that key 6-4-3 double play.
That's right.
Help him out.
You want some leather? There it is. Didn't get any fingers caught up there. Nice turn.
First inning, Mike Moustakas blasted a home run, a shot off Clayton Kershaw, tremendous pitcher, and there was the first run that Kershaw's given up this spring. But in the second inning, Nathan Karns had trouble and gave up 4 runs facing 9 Los Angeles Dodgers. And the Royals have not been able to rally other than a single tally in the 7th inning, and that's why we are at 5-2.
Hey, how about Billy Burns checking one in there? Dropped it in, and he went for two. He scored a run there. He knocked in a run, but got thrown out second base trying to stretch it into a double. And that's where we stand. 5-2. Dodgers got 11 hits. Royals only 5.
And the new pitcher is Shea Spitzbarth, and he has been having an eye-opening spring, and it continued on March 7th when he pitched 1 inning and gave up 3 hits against the Giants. His 2007 Cactus League numbers now stand at 4 innings, 4 hits, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts, and 1 save, and is not allowed a run. Let's see if the Royals can change that with Soler leading things off. Jorge singled his last time up. He's 1 for 3.
I would bet that there's never been a Spitzbarth in the majors.
I'll bet you're right.
That's a very unusual name.
Good ball in there.
Have you ever heard of Malloy College? It's located in Rockville Center, New York.
No, I haven't.
Right. This guy, where'd he come from?
He's throwing strikes, 1 and 2.
He's got a firm heater.
Just 22 years of age.
Ah.
Last year he spent time with Oklahoma City, Great Lakes, and Ogden.
Knock.
Soler, foul.
Soler got jammed on that one.
And he was signed as a non-drafted free agent in July of 2015 out of Malloy College. You talked about that. Played there for 3 years. Ground ball second. Hernandez throws out Soler, 1 down.
Yep, this young man's got a low to mid-90s fastball, curve, slider, change. See how it looks.
Here is Hunter Dozier. You see his numbers in the minor leagues, 23 home runs, and he had plenty of extra base hits. There's a high fly ball, again battling the sun is Ollie in right, and he will bring it down. And there are 2 outs in the 8th
Good
inning.
swing. You know, Dozier, he just looks like a big league baseball player. Good hustle. He was just about to second base when the ball came down and was caught. That way, that's what you want to do. Run the ball out. If he drops it, you got a double, maybe a triple. Him and his wife are expecting their first child this summer.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Here's Whit Merrifield, walked his first time up.
And Whitley's getting married in November, maybe?
I think he said in the offseason.
Yeah, that's off season. After the World Series parade, should be a good wedding. Could you handle another parade downtown?
Oh,
Kansas City?
absolutely. Let's get 900,000 in there.
How about $1 million? That was really cool. I'll never forget the mood that day. Driving in, I didn't know what to expect.
Of course.
You know, we covered it on Fox Sports Kansas City right here. You know, we had it. We had the parade and everything, and it actually let me narrate a parade. I never had done that before with Goldberg. And I wouldn't know what to expect. They told me the meeting at 9:30. I left the house about 8:30. Shoot, I should have left at 7. Because I got down there. But, you know, I saw the line of cars, and I cut and I cheated in my car. And I'm thinking, uh-oh, I'm going to get in trouble. There's officers right there. Everybody was smiling. They were happy. They didn't care.
You told them you were late?
No. I just stick my head out the window and I waved to them. They went, here, you just I went up the one-way street, and they accommodated me. Everybody was happy. And there was nobody that was upset.
Yeah, Monty told me that he got there and had to park like, I don't know, a couple miles away and walk.
I cheated. I went against the grain, and I went, and the officers, I stuck my head out the window, and they just said, right this way. So good. That's a
Up
base
the
hit.
middle, and it is a base hit.
There you go,
Whit.
Whitley. Yeah, there you go. Check out Whitley on the side swing. Didn't do too much with his front foot. I like that. See, you know, we're seeing more hitters now stay away from the flamingo, and more Royals hitters not lifting up their leg. And I think Dale Swaim is an advocate of just barely picking up your foot and setting it down. I'm seeing Bubba Starling, Jorge Bonifacio, you know, Witt. These guys are all controlling their bodies better with the mechanics. Dale Swain, expert hitting coach. He was a switch hitter.
Spitzbarth was able to get one on the outside corner for strike one. And now he went too far and he's down in the count. It's a 1-1 count. I thought they called that first pitch a strike. It looked great. Curveball. So now 2-1. Be great to see Evans get on because Pete O'Brien would then represent the tying run, who has hit 4 home runs this spring. Three and one.
Fourth rounder, this young man here, 2013, out of Georgia Tech. Take the walk.
How about that? So we've got a little drama going on here in Surprise, Arizona. The tying run will come to the plate in Pete O'Brien.
I wonder if this guy Spitzbarth knows anything about O'Brien's power.
I'm sure he does. O'Brien hit 3 in the first week and then blasted 1 2 games ago. And his home runs have not been wall scrapers. I mean, they have been majestic over the batting eye in center field.
You know what? There's no ballpark to contain this young kid. And from pole to pole, right field to left field, he's got pop all over. As a matter of fact, he could hit a home run out of the Grand Canyon.
His first 2 home runs were to right center field, well over 410 feet.
Oh, I saw the one the other day. One is straight away here. It's fun to watch. You just hope for the best for him and that he could get acclimated to a position. They got options on him, so they're gonna, you know, he'll get his time. He's got a chance to get 400 or 500, maybe 1,000 at bats here in the next couple of years, and if there's an opening, he'll be ready. Because you can use a spot in the lineup for a guy with this kind of power.
84 home runs the last 3 minor league seasons.
You know, he's well built. He's tall and lean. He's not real buffed, like, you know, short and stocky. You know, you look at this guy and go, oh man, this guy must be a power hitter. No, he leverages his arms and legs, and he's got tremendous forearm strength, great hand strength, and he's tall. Spitzbarth, get him. Tie it up.
Good swing, but fouled off. Now the count, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
You know, and these guys, a lot like professional golfers, you know, they go out and they're in that batting cage. They're hitting ball after ball after ball. I mean, like buckets of them. He's got a little leg kick. Now look at it, good head position there. I like how his head stayed down through the ball. And, you know, it's all about repetition. And they're in there hitting. Too bad. Tester. He can't see it.
Is he doesn't know where it is. And he finally recovers and drops the ball. A run will score. And O'Brien winds up at second base. Well, he never, ever looked comfortable out there.
Circle the wagons. He was lost. He spun like a top over there. And O'Brien, he'll take a double out of that.
You come to Arizona, fans, and you look up into that sun, and it is unbelievably difficult.
He's lucky he didn't hit one off the dome right there.
Yeah.
Been there. It's not easy. It's Biz. Look, that's a scary thing. And Spitzbarth, he's got to go.
So Dave Roberts going to his bullpen here in the 8th inning. The Royals have the tying runs in scoring position. Try and throw some water on the Royals fire that they've started here in the 8th inning. Spitzbarth got the first 2 outs, but then a single, a walk, and then a Sun-aided double by Pete O'Brien has made it a 5-3 game. Fought in the minor leagues last year, 4-4 record, 3.68. But this is a guy who spent like 10 years in the minor leagues.
Yeah, but he's a hard thrower too. Now let's go. You're saying he's hoping to put water on the fire. I'm hoping he throws a little gasoline on the fire. All right.
Arteaga the batter.
Lousy single ties it up.
Arteaga's been on base twice. And he takes low ball 1.
Fastball, slider. Got a decent changeup. He does have a split finger in his repertoire. So if he gets ahead of the hitter, he might try to get him to swing in the dirt.
Down the line, barely foul by just a half a foot.
Oh, that would have worked nicely. And it's been the Royals, second and third team that have been, helping with the comebacks, trying to get the team back into it here. Let's see if he can find a hole. Trying to regroup here.
Arteaga with a 1-1 count. Runners second and third. In the dirt, 2-1. You see Pete O'Brien at second base and St. Evans at third.
Ned's not going to want me to come back in a week if we can't get a win, Fizz. He's blaming it on me. Maybe Monty will bring a couple of wins next week. He's coming in there.
Arteaga chases one in the dirt, gets away from the catcher, and Evans will score the Royals' 4th run.
Okay. Yep. Which way did they go? Look at Evans. He scampered right home. Okay, here comes the fans. Fans trying to help him out.
Again, Arteaga taking a shot at right field and knocked down a fan there who was going for the foul ball. It glanced off his arm.
We're all right. We're all good down the line. Good try.
O'Brien, the tying run at third base. 2 out. Arteaga awaiting the 2-2 pitch. Chopped to the right side, fielded by Fernandez. He will throw out Arteaga. And the Royals do come up with 2 runs in the 8th. They made it a 1-run game. It's now the Dodgers 5 and the Royals 4.
Awesome, man.
Dodgers by 1 as we head to the 9th inning. And if you're looking for a Royal value, try Family Fun Day Sundays at the K before the game. You can enjoy face painters and kids activities at the outfield experience, plus player autographs at Signature Sundays on top of the dugout. After the game, kids 14 and under can round the bases on the field like a big leaguer in the fun run. Get your tickets at Royals.com/Sunday. Well, our new pitcher is Kevin McCarthy. He's battling for a spot in the bullpen. He's pitching for the 6th time this spring, and after pitching very well early, been roughed up a little bit late by Venezuela. Last year, 47 games in the minor leagues, a 3.04 ERA, and he's a guy with a power sinker.
Better believe it. Got a good competitive heart. Yeah, go right after him down in there. Fastball sinks, 92, 95, slider change. I was impressed with him last season when we saw him. He came right after guys.
Yeah, I remember his major league debut in Chicago against the White Sox on September 9th. And then the very next day on September 10th, they brought him in. He struck out Tim Anderson to end the 6th inning, and the Royals rallied for 3 runs. He got the win, first big league win, and he got about 5,000 texts from his family and friends. Now he'll give up a base hit to center field. Terrence Gore has to flip that back to the infield, make sure he doesn't advance. So Kyle Farmer is on with a base hit to center.
I remember he had a bunch of his fans that were at the game, and I thought they were his family, and they weren't. They were his buddies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the only player from Marist College to make it to the big leagues, and he's proud of that. He's all academic in his conference. It's a good fastball at 92. Kevin Garlick is the batter. In there, 0-2. McCarthy also was a Double-A All-Star in the Texas League last year, but did not pitch because he was promoted then to Triple-A Omaha prior to the game. Actually, a little bit earlier in June, and because of his excellence at Double-A, they still named him to the All-Star team. He made a mistake the other day on a fastball up to a pretty good hitter by the name of Miguel Cabrera. who hit it about 400 feet.
Yep. You shouldn't feel bad about that.
And that Venezuelan team has not fared well in their opening of the WBC, and their lineup was flat awesome with all-star after all-star, but they don't have a great pitching staff outside of Felix Hernandez and Francisco Rodriguez. Strike in there. McCarthy gets the out. Now Drew Jackson. Drew came up for the first time in the 7th and punched a single to left field. McCarthy's first pitch down low. In the bottom of the 9th inning, the Royals will have the top of the order coming up. That means Billy Burns, and then Cicchini, and then Gore. McCarthy falling behind the right-handed hitter. And now it's 3-0. And Zane Evans wants a conversation with Kevin. You know, Rex, MLB TV was with us, I think, a week and a half ago. Greg Amsinger, John Smoltz, and Peter Gammons. And Peter wrote an article on the Royals that was very optimistic and complimentary about how we go about our business organization.
Yeah.
And Gammons was talking about the Royals after they lost Giordano Ventura and how they handled it. Talking about the celebration of life that we went to and that he had heard about.
Yeah.
And he said that tells you a lot about the organization. But he said, when I go around and talk with other teams, he said, the word that I always hear about the Royals is integrity. And he said they talk about that about our general manager Dayton Moore.
Better believe it, Fizz. This is it's no secret. The respect that Dayton gives, you don't get respect unless you give it, and he gives it. But that starts from Dan Glass on down. David Glass too. They're very fair. When you know how much I love sharing the World Series ring. When I tell people that a lot of them last year, well, how many rings do you think the organization gave? Well, they gave them to longtime electricians, longtime plumbers at the ballpark.
It's like 700.
Yeah, I mean, just way generous. And those folks, you give them a ring, and they can't wait to come to work for you. I mean, it's just really quality how you treat your people, man. It's a pleasure being around those people every day.
Here is Tyler Holt. McCarthy trying to get him out as the Royals trying to stay within one. And a strike thrown. And the other thing that Peter said in his article and talking to me is he said the Royals defy analytics. They defy Pacoda. But he said their toughness, their teamwork, their work habits are precise and energetic. They have great leadership and players like Hosmer and Perez and Gordon. There's a ground ball to short. This could be 2, a 6, a 4, and a 3. Double play.
Nice. Couple double plays turned, helping out them pitchers. Look at that. Good shovel pass over Merrifield. Another good turn.
Fox Mondays.
Royals have the top of the order coming up. The Royals are back on Fox Sports Kansas City this Thursday as they take on the Padres, and the coverage gets underway at 3 o'clock from Surprise, Arizona, on Fox Sports Kansas City and Fox Sports Go. 1 o'clock first pitch local time, 3 o'clock back in Kansas City, because I'm sure we all remembered to spring ahead. And here in Arizona, we just stay put.
Yeah.
You guys jumped ahead. I woke up at the same time.
So I'm getting a report that Danny Duffy struck out the side.
Yeah, love to hear that.
Okay, they're already
Stay
getting
healthy,
that game
Danny.
going. I forgot it's 7 o'clock out there. Wow.
So it's 4 o'clock start.
Mm-hmm.
How'd the other teams do?
Let me check here for you, boss.
All right, as Colt Hines will be the new pitcher, but here are the Royals in the World Baseball Classic, who will be on that big league staff with Perez, Escobar, Soria, Butera, Duffy, and Hosmer. Those are the guys on the active 40-man roster.
I know.
The Dominican Republic beat Colombia today 10-3. Japan over the Netherlands 8-6. And Puerto Rico beat Italy 9-3.
So Drew's coming home.
Yeah.
He's hoping Salvi's all right. Drew and Salvi are coming back. Salvi won't be in the lineup for a while. All right, let's see. Let's see if we can put a little comeback on here.
Billy Burns trying to get him over his head, but not high enough, and he lines out.
Hit an atom ball.
Now Cicchini, the batter. Cicchini, first time up, walked. And the Royals have Jorge Bonifacio moving into the on-deck circle to hit for Terrence Gore. And Cicchini almost got hit, and now talking with Alfonso Marquez. Perhaps he thought he brushed his jersey.
You need to wear it. Come on, take one for the team and get on base. A little sidewinding lefty there. That's kind of a tough angle for Cicchini.
You got ice, huh? You got ice. You got the wrist guard over there too. Just throw it in there. I'll rub it for
The
you.
comebacker Hines will take care of it, and the Royals down to their final out, and that man will be Jorge Bonifacio.
Hey, boy.
Why not bring the right-hander against this side-winding lefty? But as we started this show, we'll continue to give that report to you about Salvador Perez's injury. It was just joint inflammation in his collision with Team Italy's catcher Drew Butera. And he wanted to watch Venezuela compete today. He'll be back, they believe, with the organization here in Surprise tomorrow. We'll continue his physical therapy. And
no structural damage.
oh, I was so happy to hear that. When I went on the internet, heard that he got hurt, there's a smash to the shortstop, and that will do it for the Royals. They fall to the Dodgers by a final score of 5-4. We'll be right back.
Don't you love that great